The once manicured lawns of Willow Creek were now a riot of color and untamed growth. An experimental garden, rumored to possess strange properties, had unleashed its transformative magic upon the neighborhood. Mark and Kevin, two best friends, found themselves drawn to its allure, unaware of the changes that awaited them. "Did you hear about old Mrs. Gable's prize-winning roses turning into something else?" Kevin asked, a hint of nervousness in his voice. Mark chuckled, "Yeah, giant sunflowers that sing opera. Sounds like Mrs. Gable's been hitting the gardening sherry again." As they ventured deeper into the garden, a shimmering, pink mist enveloped them. "Whoa, what is that?" Mark exclaimed, his voice suddenly higher. A tingling sensation spread through their bodies, a strange warmth blooming in their chests. Mark felt his jawline soften, his Adam's apple receding. "Kevin, I don't feel so good," he stammered, his voice cracking mid-sentence. His reflection in a nearby puddle showed his features becoming more delicate, his eyes widening, framed by lengthening eyelashes. Kevin watched in stunned silence as Mark's face underwent a dramatic transformation. His skin smoothed, becoming porcelain white, and his lips plumped, taking on a rosy hue. "Mark, what's happening to you?" A cascade of blonde hair, shimmering like spun gold, tumbled down Mark's back, replacing his short, cropped style. He reached up, touching the silken strands in disbelief. My hair." A burning sensation erupted in Mark's chest as two mountains began to swell beneath his shirt. The fabric strained, buttons popping off as his chest rapidly expanded. "Oh God, Kevin, my chest. It burns." His shirt tore open, revealing a lacy black bra struggling to contain the rapidly growing curves. His nipples hardened, sensitive to the touch of the air. They're so sensitive. Below, his jeans tightened around his hips as they flared outwards, his waist cinching inwards. His masculine frame was rapidly morphing into an hourglass figure. My hips. I feel curvy." The seams of his jeans groaned under the pressure, finally giving way as his butt rounded out, becoming full and voluptuous. He gasped, clutching at Kevin for support. I can't feel my manhood anymore." A final wave of pink smoke enveloped his lower body, and the last vestiges of his masculinity vanished. A smooth, feminine mound replaced what was once there, throbbing with a newfound sensitivity. Standing before Kevin was no longer Mark, but a stunning woman with flowing blonde hair, ample breasts, and a curvaceous figure barely contained by her torn clothes and lacy bra. "Kevin. I'm a woman." Kevin stared, speechless, at the transformation that had unfolded before his eyes. "Mark. I mean, wow. You're beautiful." She ran her hands over her new curves, marveling at the softness of her skin, the fullness of her breasts. I don't know what to say. I feel amazing." A newfound confidence surged through her veins. She straightened her back, her hips swaying as she took a step forward. This changes everything." A seductive smile played on her lips. "Come on, Kevin. Let's see what else this garden has in store for us." Deeper in the garden, they discovered a glowing pink flower, pulsating with energy. Kevin reached out to touch it, a mischievous glint in his eyes. As his fingers brushed against the petals, a burst of green and gold glitter erupted, engulfing him in its shimmering embrace. "Uh-oh. I think I just made a mistake." Kevin's features softened, his jawline becoming more delicate, his brow arching into a graceful curve. He felt a strange lightness in his chest, a tingling sensation spreading downwards. His short, brown hair lengthened, cascading down his back in a river of black silk. He gasped, running his fingers through the unfamiliar strands. His shirt tightened across his chest as two perky mounds began to form, pushing against the fabric with insistent pressure. "Oh my God. I'm getting breasts." His shirt ripped open, revealing a red push-up bra struggling to contain his rapidly growing breasts. His nipples tingled, sensitive to the slightest touch. His pants tightened around his hips as they flared outwards, his waist cinching inwards, creating a defined curve. He swayed slightly, feeling off balance. The seams of his pants gave way as his butt rounded out, becoming firm and shapely. He gasped, grabbing onto the transformed Mark for support. A cloud of green smoke swirled around his lower body, and the last vestiges of his manhood disappeared, replaced by a smooth, feminine mound. Standing before Mark was now a stunning woman with long black hair, ample breasts, and a curvaceous figure barely contained by her torn clothes and red bra. "Well, this is unexpected." She ran her hands over her new curves, marveling at the softness of her skin, the fullness of her breasts. "I have to admit, I'm kind of liking this." A seductive smile played on her lips. "So, what do you say we explore this garden a little more? I have a feeling there's more to discover." The two women, once men, walked hand in hand deeper into the garden, their laughter echoing through the transformed landscape. They were no longer Mark and Kevin, but two beautiful women ready to embrace their new lives. They came across a vine laden with giant, pulsating fruit. The fruit glowed with an inner light, beckoning them closer. I wonder what would happen if we ate one of those. Mark mused, a mischievous glint in her eyes. Without hesitation, Kevin plucked a fruit from the vine and took a bite. A surge of energy coursed through her veins, and her body began to tremble. Her breasts swelled, becoming impossibly large, straining against her bra. She gasped, her hands flying to her chest. Oh my god, they're getting bigger. Her hips widened, her waist cinching in further, creating an exaggerated hourglass figure. She swayed, struggling to maintain her balance. Her butt grew rounder and more voluptuous, jiggling with each step. She giggled, feeling a strange sense of power. She was now a caricature of femininity, her curves exaggerated to an almost comical degree. I think I overdid it, she said, laughing. Mark stared at her friend, her eyes wide with surprise. Wow, you're something else. Kevin winked. Don't worry, I'll share. Want a bite?